what it was. Y'all know who it is. And y'all tuned in with priceless knowledge of self. And this right here, this ain't nothing but some cosmic insight, man. And hey, before I go any further, I want to say something, man. If any of y'all are at a point in your life where you feel like, the universe or God has placed more on you than you can bear, hey, man, you can holler at me. If any of y'all, at some point in your journey where you feel like you're engulfed in darkness and all you see in front of you is the abyss, allow me to be your beacon. Okay? I'll be your huckleberry. All I want to be is the smile on your face. You feel me? And see, that right there, that alone, and that ain't bullshit, is why I show up here every day consistently. And that right there also has a lot to do with what we're speaking about today. Okay, because this right here, this a little something about those people that have Mercury in the 6th house of their natal chart. Okay? And see, before I go there, if you don't know my style, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to tell you a little bit about Mercury. I'm going to give y'all a quick breakdown about the energy that comes along with it and how it might affect you. Then after that, I'm going to give y'all a little bit about the 6th house of the astrological chart and what goes along there. And then after that, we're going to bring it to a culmination, which, fortunately for you, that's what I do best. So, let's get it cracking. So, Mercury. Mercury is named after the winged messenger of the gods, and it most definitely comes into our chart and commands us to speak. And that's because it's all about communication, intellect, intelligence, logic, reasoning, our attitude, as well as our ability to create and express our thought processes. And, when something's referred to as having a mercurial nature, what comes to mind for me is like restlessness and motion. That's because things happen fast with Mercury, man. And that also makes it about quick wit, quick thinking, possibilities, opinions, reasoning, and the ability to rationalize shit. That too. And, it can be both good and bad, but either way it goes, it's going to be energizing. Yeah, best believe. And this planet right here, it prompts us to move on from one thing to the next and find answers on both the physical and the psychological level. And it's also really dexterous and perceptive energy. And it rules over our short trips, our siblings, transportation in general, speaking, writing, books, online communication, all of that. Learning too. That all comes under Mercury's domain, man. And, Mercury's never more than 28 degrees away from the sun. And, pardon me, it only takes about 88 days to traverse the whole orbit that it has. And it's neither feminine nor masculine energetically. It kind of assumes the gender of whatever sign that it's in. And when we're talking about the sign placement of Mercury, that speaks to our basic attitude, our mental habits, as well as our communication style. Now, the house placement, this refers to what area of life that plays out in the most. Okay? So, just remember that. So, now, when we're talking about the 6th house, the 6th house is ruled by Mercury and the sign of Virgo too. And it's right here. It's all about our health and our service to others, our day-to-day routines and our work ethic and our work style. And the 6th, it kind of relates to discipleship and mastery. And, that it's also all about the ability to overcome obstacles and actually provide, actually produce the fruits of our achievements. Pardon me. And, planets in the 6th, they either manifest as blessings or as challenges to our well-being and our health, or they could be indications of our job. Not necessarily our career, which is the 10th house, but our job, what we do every day to pay the bills. And a lot of the times they're connected or the same thing, but sometimes they're not. So this is the 6th. And the 6th also points to any pets that we may have in the relationships that we might have with such. So there's something else to think about. And so when we take in Mercury and we put Mercury in the 6th house, well, the first thing to understand with this one right here is going to be that, Mercury is the natural ruler of the 6th. So, with that in mind, it's just going to greatly amplify all those analytical and hardworking perfectionist qualities that come along with this, man. And hey, This placement right here, man, it blesses a motherfucker with a razor sharp mind. I mean, a razor sharp mind. They be on point. You know what I'm saying? They're extremely observant, and, you know, most of the time they're really good at thinking before they act too, man, which, you know, that right there can be a superpower in itself in this day and age we live in. I'm telling you. And plus, you know, having Mercury at home in the house of Virgo, it's also going to probably imply some excellent logical skills and a really analytical way of thinking, which is really helpful in getting the most out of any job that needs to be done. You know, this is efficiency right here. But, you know, they're also true perfectionists. So, you know, that's something else that's awesome when taken in moderation. Okay. Because the thing with perfectionism is, you know, when it gets to a point where, you know, that part of your nature is suffocating your productivities, like, that's hard for you, man. You got to learn how to take a step back and, you know, reevaluate the big picture. And that'll help out a lot with this one. And, you know, the thing is, people with this placement, they really want to understand the world in a really scientific way. And that they have a scientific mind in that way of thinking, man. So they have a deep affinity for cold, hard facts. Like, they just want the facts. Leave the rest of the bullshit out, man. You know, it's like they want the complete truth, you know, no matter how painful it may be or how uncomfortable it makes the situation. That's just kind of how it is about them, man. You know, and a lot of that has to do with the fact is that they're so focused on making sound decisions. Like, that's what they're about, man. So they typically, you know, they only make a move after carefully calculating every possible outcome that they could do and then decide the most efficient course of action after that. So that helps him out in a lot of arenas of existence too. Now, when we talk about, you know, the mind of them, hey man, like I said, these are some of the most rational people who are always going to be kind of somewhat cautious when it comes to emotions, which in most cases helps them out in any crucial situation that they might find themselves in. Okay, because they're able to put their feelings to the side and assess what the hell they need to do, which another thing that I said, hey, with Mercury right home right here, you know, that's another superpower if you allow it to be. And, you know, this placement right here, it also speaks to a love of learning, y'all. I mean, a deep one, and that's for life. That's for life. For real. And, you know, the best part of all with this is that the sixth house is also all about practicality. I mean, that's what it's about the most. So these folks don't want to learn shit or know shit just for the sake of knowing some simple facts. No, they want some shit that they can put into practice. Okay? This ain't the third house or Gemini energy. They want some shit that they can put into practice. Hell, you know, this is actually one of the most practical placements that there are of all, man. Plus, you know, if there's a lot of harmonious aspects going on to this, man, it's probably going to gift them with their amazing motor skills. I mean, surgical hand-to-eye coordination. That's what I've seen with this. And, you know, some awesome dexterity too, man. And yeah, they, like you said, I could get surgical with this bitch, Jake. Yeah, they that live, man. Like they get down like that, man. And, you know, the downside of this now, you know, the downside of a sixth house Mercury is that mind is so fucking hyperactive, and, you know, that Mercury is gonna have them overthinking everything. I mean, everything. They're going to overthink everything so heavily that it puts a tremendous amount of pressure on their nervous system, which that right there, that's a motherfucker that ain't going to be helped at all by the fact that, you know, they have all this, you know, energy going on with them, and they're probably frenetic workaholics, like for real, who just don't know when to sit the fuck down. And that could right there could end up actually being a little detrimental to the health through the strain that it's putting on their nervous system, man. And it's really them being in their own way in that accord. And let me also say that Mercury in the sixth right here, man, they're worry warts. They're worry warts who can sometimes have trouble, you know, not being able to see the forest in spite of the trees. So, you know, this is one of those ones where, you know, the healing powers of rest and relaxation, it can do numbers, but getting them to sit down is much easier said than done. I mean, extremely, extremely, extremely hard to get these folks to chill out. That's just what it is. It's extremely hard for that, man. And let me also say that, you know, this one right here, it speaks a lot about the importance of experiences, because that's actually the way that these motherfuckers learn the best right here, man. It's through first-hand experience. I mean, this is an earth house after all. It really is. So, you know, that's another glaring example of the power of practicality coming into play with this one. And lastly, you know, this one right here, it can really equal up to awesome talent for organizing and some awesome talents for, you know, tending to the details. That's absolutely unparalleled. I mean, it's absolutely unparalleled. Plus, you know, feeling productive is something that's going to be of the utmost importance to these motherfuckers right here. Like, that's what life is kind of all about to them, man. So, in sum, I'm telling you that these are economical and efficient individuals that can always, always, always be counted on to, you know, do what they got to do no matter what. They're going to show up consistency and do their best shit because that's what they're about. And they're also all about finding the most efficient way to get things done. And that's the way that their mind works. When they see an issue, their mind automatically looks to the most efficient way to get that taken care of, man. And, you know, with Mercury in the 6th, with this power that it embodies, man, like, they actually become quite adept at that. Like I said, it's a superpower. And, hey, you need to be hitting that like button right now. You need to be hitting that like button right now. If you ain't hitting the dislike button, if you're watching this video right now, you need to be hitting the like button. That's just what it is. If you feel any type of way about something I said, comment. I need more interaction. But the thing is, even if you build like that, you don't have to build like that. The thing with that is, we all have all this energy available to us in our charts. What you do with it is what you do with it. And even beyond that, it's not about what you do. It's about how you do it. And that's some priceless knowledge in itself. And this been some priceless knowledge of self. Okay? If y'all are interested in any astrological reads whatsoever, you need to hit me up in the comments below, or you can email me at mr.turner1300@gmail.com. Hey, I appreciate all the love and support. I'm down with y'all like 4 flats. I hope I can get the same. Y'all keep it real till the next time he came. Yeah.